Hi, I'm Angela Walters with quiltingismytherapy.com, and I'm here with a machine quilting tutorial for the Paisley feather. The Paisley feather is a great design that adds so much texture to your quilts. But the bonus is that it's very easy to learn. With no traveling and a bunch of echoing, it's very user-friendly. So without further ado, let's get started with the design. First, you're going to start by quilting a long, elongated swirl, and you're going to echo right back to the starting point, about a 1/4 inch away. Then you're going to echo it another couple of times. Now this particular feather, I like it to have a really thick stem, so that's why I do it so often. Then you're going to work your way around the outside of that swirl by quilting paisleys. And what I'm doing is I'm just quilting the first paisley long and kind of skinny like I am right here. It's almost like a little finger. And then I'm echoing around it a couple times just to fill it in. Now I'm going to continue doing that, working my way around the outside of that swirl. The cool thing about this design is that you can echo it as many times as you want. You can keep going around it if you want a bigger feather, or just once or twice if you want a little bit of a smaller feather. But as you can tell, I'm continuing to work my way around, just echoing, echoing, echoing. What makes this design so user-friendly is that you don't have to travel. So every echo that I go and put around that paisley, I'm just kind of tucking it in and bouncing right back. Think of it as like a ping pong ball. I'm bouncing in and right back out. Now this particular feather, I'm only quilting paisleys around one side of it. So as I work my way around the swirl in towards the inside, I'm not worrying about leaving room for other petals on the other side of the stem. I'm just making them a little bit smaller so I can make sure that I have room to get back out when I'm finished. So as I'm working my way in here, I'm making them a little bit smaller and smaller still. Now when you have that little bit of extra space inside, just fill it in by echoing a couple times. It doesn't really matter. You just want to kind of fill it in. And when you're done, just continue echoing around what you've already quilted. Basically, I'm trying to get in position to add my next swirl. So I usually go about halfway or 2/3 the way around the feather. Then I go ahead and add my next spine. Another nice elongated kind of swirl coming into a point, and of course echoing because I love that echoed look. Then, again, adding in the paisley and echoing around it. You may notice that I'm just trying to fill in that space in as much as I can. And when you're using this design, especially if it's an all over or as something that you're wanting to fill in a large space, you can really play with the size of those petals. So you can elongate them, make them a lot longer, a little bit shorter, or echo around as many times as you'd like. I think you'll find that the more that you do this design, the more that you'll find your own kind of flair for it. And you're going to continue this feather just like you did the first, continuing adding the petals and filling it in. Now the cool thing about the echoing is I'm using the foot of the machine kind of as a guide. I like that kind of 1/4 inch spacing, and so I'm just trying to use that foot to help me keep that spacing fairly consistent. Doesn't have to be perfect, close enough is good enough. And again, working my way into the center here and right back out. Now when you put two feathers together, you might have some little spaces in between them that are kind of unfilled or need to be filled in a little bit more, and what you can do is you could throw in a different design. Like right here, I'm throwing in some pebbles, just some swirls to fill in that space. Now don't worry, you don't have to do anything like that. You could just keep echoing around the feather until you fill it in, and then moving on to the next. So as I'm working my way around the quilt, I'm quilting these feathers that extend off of each other. I try to make them go in different directions, and again adding the feather adding the petal as I go. So good luck with your paisley feathers.